Howdy folks, Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. And today, this morning, it's early in the morning, I got a rare day off in the middle of the week. Well, a weekday, I should say. It's Friday, but it is a weekday. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to do a quick video this morning before running out and doing a bunch of errands and stuff that have to be taken care of. So, I want to talk to you guys about an acronym I came up with, and that is P.I.I.G. P.I.G. Two I's, but still P.I.G. And it stands for Perpetual Instigation in Gaming. And what I mean by that is that right now, the atmosphere that we find ourselves in with our hobby of gaming is in a state of perpetual instigation. And if you think about it for just a second, you can probably figure out what I'm referring to. I'm talking about that gamers are very demanding. We are very demanding of developers and so forth for our hard-earned dollars. Rightfully so. We should be. However, there's a certain small percentage of gamers that probably take things too far and get toxic. And social media, of course, doesn't help with perpetuating that. And people they're rooting for stuff to fail sometimes, I think. Games to fail, movies to fail, whatever. So they can be edgy and they can put out, whether it's clickbait stuff they put out there because, oh, yeah, it's going to suck. Right away, Rotten Tomatoes this and all that. And, of course, then the creators of the content, whether it's a movie, a video game, whatever, they get defensive. And where I think that it really got inflamed, like even the flames got fueled, is when developers, like, say, let's use gaming specifically. Let's take movies and stuff out of it. Well, I guess there is some instances with movie, producers and directors and stuff like that doing this, but the ones that jump out to me are, with gaming, is Blizzard. A couple of instances I can think of where they absolutely fueled the flames. One is the infamous, "Don't you guys have phones?" quote. When they were talking about the Diablo Immortal. I don't even know what it's called. I mean, I couldn't care less. It's a mobile game it's a Diablo mobile title. I think it's Diablo Immortal. And nobody wanted it. And so the reaction they got at BlizzCon, was of disappointment and anger and everything else. And instead of taking that feedback, excuse me, and saying, well, guys, nothing's off the table. They should have said something like, hey, guys, nothing's off the table. We can always go back. We can revisit. We can talk about it, back in the developer's cave or whatever, But instead of doing something like that, they made that quote, well, don't you guys have phones, which just pissed everybody off even more, And because you got to listen to your audience. They're the ones that spend the money, And then, of course, there was another one where they were talking about Classic, World of Warcraft Classic. And somebody said, one of the developers said something like, you think you want it, but you don't. And that, is another faux pas because obviously people do want Classic because it's just the beta alone is all the talk of the town. And if you go on like Twitch and look at the Twitch ratings and so forth, and amount of viewers that are viewing in-game footage and so forth, I think World of Warcraft, the classic beta, has been up there like every day, and it's, people have been putting out videos about how much fun they're having and all this. So obviously we did want it, and of course you look foolish when you make a statement like, well, you think you want it, but you don't. The developers don't help themselves when they try to tell the audience and the gamers and the people that purchase their stuff what they want, because we know what we want. We'll tell you. We'll tell the developers. We'll say, yes, this is what we want, and if you listen, you might sell a few. But so we have this that's why I call it the perpetual instigation in gaming, because there's a certain amount of toxic people out there in gaming that, and for lack of a better word, they troll, they do whatever, they use clickbait titles and they do all this stuff, and it's generally negative, and then people jump on that bandwagon. But then the developers, rather than, being humble and just saying, hey guys, we're going to fix this. We're going to do, I can pull out the Bethesda card here and the whole Fallout 76 fiasco, because they didn't listen to their audience. They did what they wanted to do, and I get it. There's innovation needed. They got to innovate and everything, but I don't know that it was as much innovation as it was trying to jump on a bandwagon for, games as a service type of a deal. And it wasn't finished when it was put out, obviously, and it was a mess. And then they didn't help themselves by lying. I mean, there's a lot of just outright lying. That's not being sensationalistic. They lied about stuff, the whole canvas bag thing. I mean, which I don't think we'll ever get the ones that we should have gotten, but that was deception. How they did that, and they did the same thing with a different product, with the Nuka Rum thing. That was more deception, how they did that. And, of course, those were products that wasn't, the game itself. But it still makes them look bad, and it turns people off. And then those people go online and complain, and the perpetual instigation continues. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's not conducive to a healthy community and environment and everything, this perpetual instigation. So, what's the fix? I don't know. I don't think there is a fix. I think that the internet and social media feed the machine, and as long as the developers keep being corporate, is a good way of putting it. They keep being corporate instead of trying to partner with their customers and work together on things and take feedback and be positive about it. Don't be arrogant. Don't get up on a stage and say, "Don't you guys have phones?" I mean, you just look like an ass when you do that. It's ridiculous. I don't know what the fix is. I hope that, because here's why it bothers me so much. Every time you see a new game, so Baldur's Gate 3 just got announced, right? And we're all excited right now. We're all excited. And I just hope they don't do the same thing with Baldur's Gate 3. I hope that some little piece of information doesn't get, rumor gets leaked, and then all of a sudden people on social media are saying, oh, it's going to suck because they're doing this, and it's going to suck because they're doing that. And we don't even know. It's just rumor or whatever. And I just hope that people don't try to. I mean, it's cool to hate stuff, and I hope they don't do that with Baldur's Gate 3. You know, be patient. Let's wait and see how it is, and if it's like the other ones, we're gonna love it. You know, and but I worry, like every game that comes out, I just, the last one that did well was Apex Legends, but it's already gone off the thing, and that's, I think, I don't play the game, but from what I hear, it sounds like the developers are not listening to their customers. Their customers want more content, and they haven't gotten any, you know, since the game launched. And so it's going like this. But let's hope that they do, and let's hope that they're not arrogant and they don't get up and start making stupid statements about what they think their customers want when their customers are actually telling them what they want, and they just have to listen. So if I see somebody that I think, you know, future videos when I'm talking, if I see somebody being unreasonable and trying to troll and things like that, I'm just going to start calling them a piggy for perpetual instigation in gaming. And if you guys hear me say that, if I say I think they're being a little piggy about this, you'll know what I'm talking about. Perpetual instigation in gaming. And if you don't agree with me, put it down below. Please tell me where I got it wrong. And even better, if you can figure out, come up with an idea of how they fix this, how we get out of this constant cycle of negativity with our hobby. I would love to hear it. And I think that the developers and I think other gamers and everybody else need to hear it too, so that we don't keep perpetuating this thing. I don't want to keep, every time I turn on YouTube, you know, and I don't want to just see constant negative bashing stuff, for people, because people are trolling. And on the flip side, I also don't want to see deceptive, lying developers and everybody else perpetuating the machine, you know, making it worse. So, I don't know. It was just some thoughts I had about the current state of gaming that I see. Tell me your feedback. Let me know what you think. Click the like button, subscribe, follow me on social media. I've started posting more on those, so it'll be helpful if sometimes I just have a random thought and I'll just tweet it out or whatever, so it all helps. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you on the flip side.